Hello everyone, my name is Chloe and today I am here with a brand new video. Welcome to BookNet Bibliophile, where I post bookish videos and writing content. Today I am here to do the Back from BookNet Fest tag. Now it has been 3 long years since I have been able to do this tag video. BookNet Fest returned in person this year. I actually just got back this past weekend and I had a blast. The weekend went by much too quickly, as it always does, and today we're just gonna do a little tag video talking about BookNet Fest. So this tag was created by Onyx Pages. It is from 3 years ago, so there's not an updated one for 2023 that I know of, so I'm just going to be going off of this tag. And I will link the original video in the description below. Question number 1 is explain your BookNet Fest experience in 1 word. The word that I want to use is relaxing because it was also supposed to be a vacation, but the word I think I'm going to use is motivating because I got to take in a lot of different information in both a filming and a content aspect, but also from a writing perspective too, because there was a publishing panel. I think I always come back from events like this very motivated to jump back into content. Question number 2, what was your favorite session and why? I kind of have 2 different ones. One of my favorite sessions was the traditional publishing versus self-publishing panel because I got to ask a question about how to find that motivation to create that writing habit when you've taken a step back from writing. So I'm currently in between drafts with my Cinderella novel, and I took what was supposed to be a 2-week break and I started drafting another book, but it has been about a month and a half since I finished the last draft of the Cinderella book, and I have not started this new one yet, so I've kind of fallen out of the habit. So I needed tips to get back into it. But then I also really enjoyed the hobby burnout panel and just talking about, when we're in this world of content creating for books, when it's also a pastime that we enjoy, what do we do when we get burnt out? Something that's a pastime and a hobby for us, but also something that could be somebody's livelihood or their day job or, content creating. I feel like I got a lot of good tips from that one in addition to some stuff that I already do. Question number 3 is, what's the most interesting thing you learned? Kind of going back to the hobby burnout panel and talking about what do you do when you're burnt out from creating content, but you also read and create content as a hobby. Something that was talked about a lot was creating batch content, which is something that I have done for years and most recently have just started dedicating a day to filming content for you all. But one of the tips that was given was if you want to take an extended break but still want to be posting content, to have one of those batch filming days and take a few days to create a ton of content to schedule it to post. And I actually did that when I was getting married. I filmed and scheduled a ton of content to post about a week before my wedding all the way up until about 2 weeks after I came back from my honeymoon. And it's very helpful and I highly recommend it. And I've definitely done it before, and it was just very interesting to hear other people talking about their experiences. And it makes me feel that if I want to take a break from content creating, I definitely have the means to do it. Were there any conversations that you had at BookNet Fest that you think we should keep talking about as a community for the rest of the year? So I went to a panel that was talking about anti-intellectualism, and some of the topics that were brought up is reading critically, but also understanding that you can't nitpick everything because we're just not trained necessarily to grab every little thing that is an issue in a book. And I know I definitely have a hard time reading critically because sometimes I just go into this like hypnosis state of reading and I'm just reading essentially. But talking about reading critically and adapting to reading critically are things that I definitely want to keep going in my own life, and I did get some good tips about how to kind of train my brain to do that. Question number 5, what was your most memorable moment? I'm not really sure if I had like a super memorable moment, not one that I can pinpoint off the top of my head. Prom was really fun, but I feel like there was not as much like dancing as there was in the past year, 2019. I was definitely dancing almost the entire time with my husband. I feel like there were a ton of people who were dancing in 2019, but not so much this time around, which is totally fine, but I just needed a vibe. Question number 6, in what way does BookNet Fest add value to the bookish community? So I actually have a couple of things I would like to add with this one. One is that it's giving the community a place where we're all equal. You don't have to be a content creator. You don't have to be a large platform creator. You don't have to be a big content creator with tons of followers. You don't even have to be a content creator at all. You can be a reader. You can be just a community member, and you're all welcome there. And I've been to events where it's not like that. So this is definitely my favorite one to attend. That is, everybody is the same, essentially. We're all just here for the love of the book community. But also during the keynote, they had somebody from the Florida Freedom to Read Project come and talk about the work that they are doing to help fight book banning in the state of Florida. And something that was brought up a lot is that some people wanted to attend BookNet Fest but did not want to come to Florida, which is understandable because the state is turning into a dumpster fire. But one of the reasons that I hope that BookNet Fest continues to come to Florida, Floridians need you here too. I say this as somebody who doesn't have plans to leave the state anytime soon and doesn't necessarily have the means to leave the state. Floridians need a community that is safe. With the consistent book banning and legislations that is being passed that does not help everyone, some people who don't have the means to leave get left behind. And I don't mean that in a necessarily bad way. I mean it in a way that says Floridians, and especially LGBT plus Floridians, need a safe space where they can go and be themselves and feel safe in a community area. And that is something that BookNet Fest really adds by coming here and hosting this event for readers and book lovers of all kinds and knowing that it is a safe space. Question number 7, show us your swag, book swap treasure, or something great you got from a vendor. I literally just put all of it on my shelves. Here's something that was in reaching distance. I got this from the book swap. Sneak peek kind of into my book haul that you'll see next month, but this is one thing that I did get from the book swap. Question number 8, shout out a few content creators who inspired you at BookNet Fest. Not necessarily inspiration, but some creators that I followed over the weekend. Jason from Easy Cat. I've definitely seen his stuff going around before, but I don't think I had actually followed him until this weekend. And also Meg from Meg's Tea Room. She was so refreshing. I loved her. And definitely I followed her on TikTok, and I'll link both of them in the description below. Question number 9, if you plan to come back next year, is there anything you would want to change? I am really hoping that BookNet Fest does continue on next year, especially the hotel that it was at was such a great location, and the hospitality of the hotel was like 100% from the minute I checked in throughout the entire rest of the weekend. Some things that I would love to see at BookNet Fest in the future, and things that hopefully I can write into a survey or something, are there used to be, I think it was 2018 or 2019, there were different like classes where I took a class to learn how to do sprayed edges on books. That was so much fun. I would also like to see the day kind of more broken up by other things. I remember in 2019 there was a trivia that I went to, and that was so much fun. I'd love to see kind of like a trivia done in the middle of the day, not necessarily all the way at the end of the day. Maybe a different kind of area, or not necessarily a panel, but maybe an hour of like a board game room, or something that would be awesome is like a silent reading room where like a panel could be going on, or you could go to the silent reading room and have reading time for an hour. That would be so much fun. A day of panels is great, but I just want it to be broken up with some other things during the day, not just something at the very end of the day. I need panels broken up by other things. And then the final question is not really a question. It just says, please share your prom portrait or any other photos or videos of yourself having fun at BookNet Fest. So here are 2 pictures from prom. Such a fun time. So that is all I have for this tag video today. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you like what you see here, please go ahead and click subscribe. I post new videos every week, so click subscribe so you can be updated for when I post those. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in my next one. Bye!
In the darkness, I don't feel so cold.